every little detail from the very first episode to episode 7, all of it matters. So guys, pay attention. Pay attention. Get your notepad out. You're going to have to Pepe Sylvia this thing because it is just so freaking detailed. Hey guys, welcome back to Candid Cinema. I'm Amanda, otherwise known as AMX NDA Reviews on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. Today, I will be reviewing Stranger Things, Season 4, Volume 1. Now, Volume 1 consists of 7 episodes, and majority of them are like an hour 15. The longest one in Volume 1 is an hour and 38 minutes, I believe. But the good thing about this series, the great thing about the Duffer Brothers is the fact that this doesn't feel overly long. And that's hard to do, especially with runtimes of certain episodes. It just felt like they were perfect within the confines of the episode, and that you're getting so much backstory. You're getting so much information being thrown at you. And more importantly, you're getting character development. Of course, this is a spoiler-free review. I'm not really going to touch upon certain aspects of it. I'm going to give you somewhat of what the story is about. I'm also confused about what the story is about. There's so much that happens that honestly, in volume 2, that we get like an hour and 40 for an episode or a 2-hour feature length episode, it feels like there's still so much that they could do. And I was just really impressed with the structure of this season. Now, I wasn't really a fan of season 2. I didn't like season 3 that much. I don't know what it was. The characters are great, but sometimes the story just doesn't evolve certain characters and then they get stuck. So that's how I felt with season 3. And now with season 4, it kind of starts off with Millie Bobby Brown. It starts off with Elle, and she had to move away with the Byers to sunny California. But it's not so sunny for Elle now that she moved there. She moved away from Mike. She lost Hopper, R.I.P. Hopper in season 3. And Joyce is also feeling that in season 3 as well. But Elle's feeling it the most because she has to process her grief. And I don't think she's ever really processed grief in her, time span to that kind of level of losing like her father figure in this case. So I think that she has to deal with that. She has to deal with moving to a new school, and the fact that she doesn't have Mike by her side, who was like a massive support system for her as well. So she doesn't have Hopper, she doesn't have Mike. She does have Will, but their connection is like a bit different. It's not on the same levels as the other two, and he does support her, but not in the same way that Mike and Hopper did. So she has to move forward while grieving, while processing all of this in a new school where there's not nice people. So she kind of feels out of place. She feels even more of an outcast than she did when she, first stepped into Hawkins. So Millie Bobby Brown has a great storyline in this season. I absolutely loved it. And I feel like the Duffer Brothers just kind of went back to basics. They really stripped everything down. There's no excess. It's more of what is happening in each of the characters' mind and their past. So I think that was really well done in that case. This is the most engaged I've been with the series since the first season. I felt like I was trudging along with 2 and 3. But yeah, season 4 started off extremely well. Going back to how I mentioned the structure, you have Elle, who's also known as Jane Hopper, there with Will, with Jonathan. They're all there. So they're in California. That's one section. And then the second section, the second layer to the storyline is that you're back in Hawkins. And Hawkins, within the first episode, we find out is not doing too well. That city, that little county is not doing too well. So Hawkins has really bad juju. And that's all I can really say about this season. And we have, our standard gang. We have, got Steve, we got Robin, we got Nancy, we got Dustin and Lucas and Mike, and they're navigating high school as well, those kids. So it's a lot of fun to see them kind of interact and switch up because they are starting a new journey in school. So you kind of see Lucas going a different route, and then Mike and Dustin going a different route. And then we have Max. Max is really struggling with the loss of Billy. And much like 11, who obviously lost Hopper, they're both grieving in different ways. And I think that's really great for their performances. Sadie Sink is the standout of the season. I thought she did a phenomenal job with Max. And the Duffer Brothers also let her scenes kind of breathe. I think that's why these episode runtimes are so important, because there's so much that we can do with Max in what we find out this season. And there's so much that we can do with 11, with Jane Hopper, in what we find out this season. So the episode runtimes are very warranted. And the structure of this season makes more sense as it goes along, because there's so many layers to this. It's very meticulous. It's very intricate. Every little detail from the very first episode to episode 7, all of it matters. So guys, pay attention. Pay attention. Get your notepad out. You're going to have to Pepe Sylvia this thing, because it is just so freaking detailed. And I was so impressed with the writing for this season. There's always a reason why something is happening, and then it ties in with the final episode of this volume. And I was very impressed. So we have those two sections. Sadie Sink really held it down. She held it together. I'm not saying that the other kids didn't give the best performances, but Max, Sadie Sink had the material to grow as a character and possibly be one of my favorite characters in the series now, after what she has to go through and process in this season. So kudos to Sadie Sink. I also feel like Millie Bobby Brown got enough screen time, but she also didn't. And I think that's why they balanced it out with Sadie Sink, because they're in two different locations in that case. So I love them. The third one, it's kind of spoilers, so I'm going to be really vague about it. I just did not like the third location whatsoever. The third location is Russia. And I just didn't really vibe with what was happening there. I didn't think it really added much to the other layers. I think the most interesting location is Hawkins, and what the characters do and go through in Hawkins really brings this season together. And I think that's why I loved it so much. So that made me really happy. But every time there was a scene in Russia, I just didn't click, didn't connect. It wasn't working with the other two threads as well as it should have. That's my only peeve about it. I'm not saying it's bad and it ruins the season. I just think that it could have been cut down in certain ways. They really prolonged it, and they really dragged it out to match the other two storylines that are running simultaneously. And I think that if you have to do that, then maybe it shouldn't have taken up that entire season. But the promotional posters do show that there are many moving parts to this season. It's bigger, it's better, it's more thrilling, very graphic, and it just matches the growth of these characters. Now, going into the style of what the Duffer Brothers did, 80s nostalgia, it's so strong. I absolutely love the camera work in this. The transitions, the swift camera move, it's cutting to characters while they're talking, moving back and forth, really fast paced. I was just like, I had to catch my breath sometimes, because they were moving the camera so fast, and like each scene was just blazing through it. Like they had to cover so many pages, but it all made sense. It's not like there was something that shouldn't have been there. I really love the editing in this. The transitions when they're in certain areas in the Upside Down, I thought that was really interesting to show that. We do have a new character named Eddie, and I really, really liked him. He's very charming. And at first you won't like him, but he is one of those characters that they really grow on you the more that they stay with your favorite characters. And just to see that kind of banter and dynamic that takes place in Hawkins, especially with Dustin and Steve, I thought it was really good. Love that dynamic. There are new actors that come in, and that's great. But at the same time, I am going to say this because Millie Bobby Brown said it. So Millie Bobby Brown can say it. I can say it as well. there are too many characters. And I understand why they needed to structure season 4 the way that they did, because you need to hone in on certain storylines in order to bring these things together and piece them together. And you can't have that many characters interacting at once in a season because it's just going to be overly bloated. So this feels like there's so much information being thrown at you, but having them in subsections within the season, and they're doing detective work to figure out different layers of the storyline and how they all connect, is so smart for the Duffer Brothers. And I love that they did that with season 4. This is possibly the best season of the show since season 1. It's one of my favorite seasons of television this year. I think they really killed it. Like I said, Sadie Sink is a standout. Millie Bobby Brown is a standout. And I do have to give a shout out to my boy Dustin Gator Matarazzo, because he just makes me laugh. He's so fun. He's such a great character. And I love his dynamic with Steve, and now with Eddie. I thought they did a great job. So everyone in this season is perfectly placed to move the story forward in some way. Whatever information they find, whatever they're trying to uncover, every little thing is perfectly placed, even more so than previous seasons. I'm telling you, I was blown away by volume 1, and I am so excited to see what they're going to do in volume 2. Guys, let me know who your favorite character in Stranger Things is. Let me know what your favorite season is, and if possibly season 4 could top it. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe the episode run times are scaring you a little bit, but trust me, they're really not that bad, and they're going to go by so fast. You may feel like 15 minutes towards the end, but it just pays off because it has the Netflix model of literally bleeding into the next episode, so you can't stop watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. You can always follow me over at AMX NDA Reviews on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. I'll catch you guys next time. Keep watching movies.